I just finished my full deep dive of Cardi B's new project, Am I the Drama? At its best, it is a nice follow up off of her first project. It also has her being candid, being vulnerable, and quite entertaining at certain moments. At its worst, though, it's often a reminder that Cardi B is more a project and a product than she is a pure rapper. Now, that's okay because Cardi B's superpower is the fact that she's likable and in some ways can be relatable. Let's get into this. All right, let's get into it. I know why you're here. As usual, this is how we do the HQ theory. You got the records that I love, you got the records that I like, you got the records that I think are okay, and there's a lot of them I think are pretty much just okay, but it is a very long track list, 23 songs. And then you got records that I'm asking why. Why doesn't always mean I think a record is a worse than ever. For example, you'll see Up and WAP here. They're here because I simply am not gonna back up off my point that these records had no business being on this album. I know Cardi B and her fans see it a lot differently. That's cool. As a matter of fact, because of those records, the album is automatic platinum. It just came out, less than 24 hours ago. All right, let's go one by one here. We'll start with the records that we love. We're going to lead with Love, right? I'm actually going to go with Pretty and Petty because I think it's probably the best song on the album. I mean, you start off with name 5 Bia songs to your head. Pop your okay. Oh, we're starting off that record on fire, right? And I don't think it's that close. Now, the thing I love about this record when you say Pretty and Petty, y'all know I like to tell y'all all the time. You gotta know when to attack. Life is a game of chess, Game of Thrones, right? Bia, I'm not gonna lie to you, shorty. You might be flattered that one of the best records about you, but you should be having a meeting right now on how you're going to deal with this because I know you did your dissing a little while back, but shorty took her time. I mean, for the love of God, you from Boston? Let's have a tea party. Is a crazy bar. I love Cardi's delivery on here, maybe because she was angry, but this is one of those records where she sounds pretty good in her delivery. Another record that I love here, Man of Your Word. Shout out to this record and just the production around this record. Shout out to the fact that this record is a really great example of her being vulnerable and candid. Like the production, the hook, along with Dougie F. Shout out Jersey in the building. Now I'm saying if you know, you know. It really just does it for me. And the only thing I would say I don't love about this record, bias as a man, is when Cardi says, as a wife, I should have realized when you was hurt. Elaborate on that. Explain, expand, a little bit of accountability here. Y'all told me women don't usually, don't really have accountability and not really accountable for a lot of things, but elaborate on that some more, you know what I'm saying? All right, so we talked about Man of Your Word, Dougie F. We got Jeff Kleiman on the production. We like that. Now we're going to go to Safe. Safe is a vibe. I can't lie, the production on this record is also great. Feels like a single. There's some things I have a problem with here. I don't hate the sequencing on this record. Big name project, big money project. They did what they had to do. Safe feels like it should have been a single. They just dropped a video to go along with the release of the project. So I see, but I'm not understanding why we did Imaginary Players next up. Maybe because they felt like they were trying with the singles, just go with something raw. But funny enough, this record sounds like it should have been D Cash Cobain Records. It is not. It is Safe with Kalani. It is a vibe for me. I love this record. Now let's get to the records that I did like. Now, Imaginary Players is crazy to me. This record sounds so much better on the album. It sounds better with the sequencing of the album. This shouldn't have been a single. And I know it's a good album cut because when the phone took the playlist and played it for me and got to it, I didn't go, oh, I already heard this. This is a single. It just flowed. It was easy on the ears. I really like that record on the album more than I like it as a single, right? Another record that I like is Salute. Now, here's what I'm going to tell you guys about a record like Salute, right? Now, I love this beat. She repeats things like Salute later on, but this is the version that I like, okay? I love the beat. She lands well. This is some of the stuff where the pockets that she's in on records like Salute is good. I like it, right? Cardi B loves talking about how bad she is. She loves that flex talk. She excels here when she's, when she's doing this flex talk and when she's doing relationship talk. There are other moments where I don't think she excels, but the flow is very Versace coded, a little two chains cadence there as well. I'm not sure if there was an interpolation or sampling going on there, but I could clearly hear it. Now, here's the thing about Outside. Outside was a single. I let it play, but when I listened to it within the album, within the structure of the album, how she designed that, you know what I'm saying? Because there was a section where she had the relationship talk, then she had a section where she was moving on from the hurt. Outside, if I take my bias away, I actually like this song. Once I go away from the fact that it can be you, brothers. You mess up with your girl, she'll be outside next week. It's fitting. It's fitting after all that vulnerability. Great job on whoever, or Cardi herself, that made the decision to work on getting that sequencing right. Now, let's go with another record I like. Nice Guys, like, this is when they try to structure the song for Cardi. Like when you can tell it's a corporate arrangement, this is when it works. This is a good example of when it works. Or when Cardi makes that decision to call the shots. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who's who. You know what I'm saying? To get the writer, to get her brain, her writing. Partisan, I saw you, Mr. Fontaine. I saw you on there. You know what I'm saying? Get that male perspective. You know what I'm saying? But thinking with a female mind. Yeah, there you go. So you get a relevant singer on there featuring and Tyler, right? I believe. And then Cardi fills in with her verse. So that's a good look, right? Killing You Hoes is another record I like. I don't love it. I like it. It's a record that closes out the album to me, again, because Up and WAP does not exist, okay? I like this mostly because of the way she rides the beat. Anytime Cardi can land safely, I actually feel really good about that. Okay, now we get the records that are okay, right? And a lot of these records, I don't have too much to say about them, just simply because of the fact that you can tell they're well put together, structured songs, right? And that's the bare minimum of what we need for a record to be okay. But some of them fall flat. In terms of the rawness of it, it sounds like, like, for example, I'll give you an example with Dead. We get Summer Walker. Summer Walker is great on that. She sets the tone. Then Cardi B does this kind of like Dreams and Nightmare intro attempt with the switch up, but it doesn't settle for me at the beginning. She eventually does settle, but early on that was a little rocky, right? She stays in a certain rap pocket. And sometimes Cardi can sound like she's reciting off and reading off of a piece of paper. A lot of you already kind of say things like this, and I don't mean that to be rude. That just is what it is. That's the voice that she has. That's the cadence that she has. I don't think she could be musically inclined. I don't think she's I don't know, a natural rapper or whatever the case might be. But anyway, we got Hello. I could see how Hello would be in the like section for the people that, you're the target audience. I could see how a lot of the songs would be in a like for you because you're in the target audience. But a lot of it for me is when Cardi, veers towards being a little lyrical, it doesn't work. But when she's doing chant-like raps, it does work. And some of these songs, she's trying to balance the both. There's a little conflict for me, right? Like, for example, you got a record like On My Back. Like, I get it. On My Back, for the people that's the target audience, I get it, right? I get the sultry stuff. I get how, we're on there and it's an ode to Stefan Diggs. I get it, dog. I get when you're on there and you start saying things like, run a route in this cat, spike the ball. That's Stefan Diggs. It also explains how we did the hurt stuff earlier and we're immediately doing the Stefan Diggs line. And also, we're pregnant again, right? So we moved on. I don't know about how long it took. I'm not into that. That's women's business. But we moved on. And we got other records. Principal versus Principal. I thought it was the Principal, not Principal. But maybe it's a play on words. That record, the intro, the beginning sounds good for me. Got Janet Jackson on there. But after a while, it's just like, it doesn't work for me. And then we got other records. Magnet. We got Pick It Up. These records are cool, right? Now, let's just really deep dive on a record like Bodega Baddie. Out of all the records that I say, why? I'm going to be honest with you. This is a perfect example of when the attempt, right, to put a song together doesn't work. Funny enough, I get why it's there because, you know what I'm saying? Cardi is she's Afro-Latina. I get it. This would play well with the focus groups. Let's take something from New York. You know what I'm saying? Like bodegas. Let's see if it works. And let's take that Jersey, New York club sound. No. Okay? This is an example of the worst of the project. But overall, it's a decent listen. 23 tracks feels like a lot for me. But why don't y'all let me know what you think? This is the HQ Theory.